In this module, we are going to discuss about mixed methods. There was a quantitative studies which were quite dominant in the research in the early 19th century onwards. Then in 1960s, qualitative studies also started gaining a lot of attention. The discovery of grounded theory by Strauss and Corbin was one of the cornerstones through which qualitative studies also started gaining prominence. Then came a third research paradigm. That means studies which not only are quantitative oriented, qualitative oriented, but study which could be a combination of both these techniques. In order to define mixed methods or mixed method research, one of the prominent authors, Johnson et al. 2007, states that mixed method research is the type of research in which the researcher or the team of researchers combines elements of qualitative and quantitative research for the purpose of breadth and depth of understanding collaboration. These definitions can be broken down into use of qualitative and quantitative research method to answer the research question, or in order to answer the same research question, we use both qualitative as well as quantitative research methods. This is the facet of mixed method research by the definition of Johnson. The next prominent author is Tashakori and Creswell. They also talks about collecting and analyzing, integrating the findings of both qualitative and quantitative approaches in a single study or program of inquiry. This definition also emphasizes the importance of both qualitative and quantitative research methods in order to answer a research question. In one of the classical or generic definitions of multi-method and mixed methods research of inquiry, mixed method have in common of mixing at least one qualitative and one quantitative research methods. Whereas in a multi-method of data collection, you collect data either qualitative study in multiple forms like interview, focus group discussion, uh, documents, the secondary documents. And if it is a quantitative study, then it could be either a survey or an experiment and so on. So we need to differentiate between multi-method and mixed method research. In the mixed method research, the important aspect is qualitative and quantitative studies are carried out to answer the same research question. The qualitative and quantitative study here, we have these aspects of collecting the data and analyzing both qualitative and quantitative data. After collecting the qualitative data and quantitative data, we tend to mix both qualitative and quantitative data in such a manner so that we could answer the research question in a more objective manner. So this helps us to increase our understanding as regards to the theory and philosophy of the research question being explored. Now, a question arises. We know quantitative studies are used when the data is numerical oriented, or in terms of research approaches, when we are using a positivist or post-positivist methods. Qualitative methods are used for interpretivist or constructivist approaches, wherein we view world as due to the interactions between participants, we try to make sense and try to answer the research question. In a mixed method design, we are more concerned towards transformative and pragmatism. Here, we are focused on the consequence, and our objective is to answer the research question and solve the problems of the real life world. Hence, qualitative and quantitative research methods uh, are combined together to answer the research question. In terms of research question, we use mixed method if we want to obtain a more complete and corroborated results. That means for one research question, we use qualitative and quantitative studies so that we can get the complete picture of the research question, and also we can corroborate both this data, qualitative and quantitative data, to answer the research question. We use mixed method if we want to explain the initial results. Take for instance, you have done a survey and you have got some results, but you don't know how to explain these results. So we use a qualitative study to explain those. If the research question is complex or multifaceted, that means it has multiple dimensions of the research questions. What are the consequences of Lean Six Sigma on the social performance of an organization? Now, a social performance of an organization is having a multifaceted aspect, whether the performance within the organization and external to the organization. Such a study are amenable to mixed methods. If we need to if after conducting an experimental study, if we want to understand what could be the cause of the results, it can be supplemented with a qualitative study in order to understand or to better explain the differences, what was being found in the experimental study. If we have need to describe and compare different type of results, we can use mixed method study. Also, if we want to enhance the validity or credibility of the research. This brings an end to this module.